everybody.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Juice. We're your hosts, Wyatt Frank is Shane Campbell. And we are joined today by a couple.
Yeah. Hello. I've never done a podcast standing up with like an open mic like I'm about to tell some jokes. So I'm excited.
That's good.
I'm here tonight, folks. You know, tip
Go ahead
your
and introduce
waitresses.
yourselves, though, real quick.
My name is Justin Rackley. I am otherwise known to the internet as Lakeforkguy.
Never heard of you.
Me and Shane go way back, actually. Maybe we can get into that. But anyway, I make YouTube, internet videos, been doing video things for about 10 years online, and I am a official Googan, part of the Googan squad.
It's good to have you here today.
Thank you, sir.
I'm Matt Kendrick. I am the CEO of House of Outdoors, which is Googan Squad. Some know me as Manager Matt.
Yep.
On the interwebs.
Manager Matt. Okay, so we were
love him,
curious.
we
I
hate
didn't
him.
know what
He's
the
the
title
best.
was. It was like CEOs, right?
It's CEO.
Okay.
Full on, like,
Man.
I'll send you an email. It'll say it in my.
Yeah,
Wow.
Dang, I should have got him a chair.
Wow.
I know.
You know, I didn't even know.
I didn't know.
So
We were.
Yeah, he
Wyatt
runs
was
the show.
like, "What's his official title?" I was like,
Well,
I
if
think
you
it's
don't know, now
CEO,
you
but I
know.
don't know.
if you don't know, now you know.
You know.
So here's the deal, guys. We have absolutely no idea. We have absolutely no idea what we want to talk about today. But we're going to
good.
talk about fishing, probably the competitive side, the business side, because we've got maybe some
I thought you
insight.
guys wanted the juice. Like,
Well, this is the juice.
Yeah, we want the
This
juice.
is the
like
juice.
I mean, Googan is here.
Mm-hmm.
Now's the time to get the juice.
Yeah,
And
we
that's
want
what
the
we're gonna
juice.
talk about.
So we've had some conversation. I've had some conversation with Justin. I've had some conversation with Matt about kind of some things we want to talk about. So we know a little bit about what we want to hit up, but we definitely didn't start with a script per se. So
No sense of
we've
I think
been
it's
out
better
on the
that way.
water all day. Everybody's a little fatigued.
Yeah, gentlemen. 24 hours ago, I was blowing chunks.
Yes.
So it's an honor to be standing and surviving right now.
We were in dire straits.
We were.
You were laid out in the deck of the boat, in the bottom of the boat.
I wasn't sure that this whole fishing, these 2.5 days of fishing was going to go down. I was like,
Yeah, you fished with
God.
me enough times. You know, I like to get up there and get after it. I was laying in the seats of the boat for probably 2.5 hours while you guys fished.
It was much longer than 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
I was
before I
concerned.
even made a cast.
You fought through it. I mean, I wasn't there, but from what I've seen,
Yeah, you
heard,
saw a little clip of me throwing up.
You fought through it. I'm impressed. Most would have quit. Most would have quit.
Well, what happened was the shaman Shane got on the crappie and he started plucking them, and then you started catching them. I was like, if Matt's catching them too, then this must be good. And I woke up. I woke up and I came up top and I plucked one. I sniffed it and it brought me back to life.
yeah, you did.
And then you puked your guts out over the side of the boat.
Yes.
It was,
You were a lot tougher than I thought you were going to be, and I mean that in a nice way.
Thank you.
Because I'm a sissy. Like, if I got any kind of ailment, I'm like, no, I need to go to the bank.
Well, throwing up and being on the water just don't mix.
No, not usually. He
No.
toughed it out, man. I'm thoroughly impressed.
Yeah.
Well,
crappie
cat.
cured him.
you know, it cures all,
Yeah.
honestly. So, anyway, I'm just glad to be here. Thank you so much.
Man, we are
you.
just blessed. We've got these dudes in the house. In Captain Ron's studios. Right?
Yeah, it's a little
Yeah,
tight
this is
squeeze
interesting.
here.
This is cool. Captain Ron, we got to meet Captain Ron. Guy's
Oh, yeah,
a
that
G.
guy's
It's an absolute G.
His setup here is awesome.
This
Yeah,
is what
man,
I hope
he's-
to have one day. Like
Yeah.
this little studio thing where I can talk to the world, and then a garage, you know, of like toys,
Yeah, man, we got the
boats.
boat back here.
He's
We
got
got
a
a full-on
He's got
shop.
a boat here.
Car in there.
You know, he's got the old beer signs and all that fun stuff. It's just good times.
He really is
I
an
love
OG.
it. And he lets you guys hang out in here, which is
Yeah,
We
man.
just rolled up
Really
here with
nice.
crawfish, and he was totally cool with it.
Yeah, man, he's a good dude. We're happy to be here, but I want to circle back to you, Mr. Matt, Manager Matt. Let's start from the beginning of how you kind of
Wow.
I don't know why I did
Here we
that.
go.
It's just you've got a mic here.
I think
you
you've
ever
always
see,
wanted to do that.
I know. You ever see a comedian and they do things with the mic and it's entertaining?
Yeah,
That's what I feel like right now. But anyway,
you've
back
been
to
practicing.
Matt.
So back to Matt. I mean, tell me the story how you got involved with this group of characters here. When did you
Wow.
come in, and how
This
did you
is-
come in?
Long time ago. Was it 15?
Yeah, actually,
15 that everyone was.
I think everyone was still kind of separate, but we were all kind of working with Mystery Tackle Box,
Yeah.
which was a client of yours at the time.
Yes, Mystery Tackle Box was a client of mine. So, I got introduced to everybody through T-shirt printing.
Okay.
So not even fishing related, but essentially I had a T-shirt business, and we serviced influencers and YouTubers. And I was like, I really love fishing. Like that was a big passion. I was like, let me go see who's out there in the fishing space. And I start running into like John B, Alex Perrick. Then there's this Rob Turkla guy that's out there. Andrew Flair.
He was fresh.
And there's Mr.
I was there all the time.
Mr. LFG had been out there for a good decade at that point.
I know. It was already gray when you met me.
But met all the guys and did merch for them. That's how we got started, like individually.
Yeah, everybody wanted their own merch.
There was
at the
no
time,
Googan squad.
And he was the dude.
He was the guy.
Like,
You were
fairly
the
close.
merch guy.
I was the plug.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's kind of how we all started working together too. Is like we're all using the same dude, and then you were actually editing Mystery Tackle Box videos. So you were running a printing company, editing full on like at the computer.
Yep, shooting and editing,
shooting professional video and editing.
Yep.
And then that's how I met you. Is because we went on a shoot. I think it was at
it was
Athens
us.
or something.
You
it was
mean
in
Fluke
Master.
Fluke
That's who it
Master.
was.
Yeah, that's exactly. Oh, wow.
I had no idea that you did editing as well.
Yeah, no, this guy is. He plays guitar. He sings. He used. He
Is he the total package or?
He's a total package.
Sounds like it.
I mean, you know.
He said, "Yeah."
I mean, it is what it is.
I didn't know you sing too.
He sings. Like he used to moonlight as you were a paid. You could say you're a professional. You got paid to sing.
I did
and play guitar at places.
I did.
I really wish
way.
we could just get you to.
I mean,
a little bit.
If you would like to serenade us,
No, maybe
It
on
takes
the
a lot of alcohol.
That
to
would
have-
be-
podcast.
next. Okay.
Next
That would be
podcast.
pretty cool.
Well, just for
Super
our
juicy.
10 or 12 viewers here, if you had to compare yourself to a current artist, who do you sound like?
Bono.
I mean,
I said current.
Bono's still current. Man.
He's still out there. Really?
I mean, I know he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
Still,
So
I mean,
is
they
Bono?
just. I mean, U2's my all-time favorite band.
That's like you see a karaoke scene, you're like, you got any
I've
U2
never
on that
walked
thing?
No, I've never walked up to a karaoke scene and done anything.
Come on.
I'm not gonna do it.
There's a video. Honestly, if you guys want to look it up and insert it, there's a video of Matt on the internet covering a U2 song. So it's out there. It is
It's
out there.
out there.
It's out there.
How do we find it?
You know, the interwebs. You can find
People
anything.
What was the name? I mean, is it under Matt Kendrick?
No,
How do we find it?
You could probably find it under my
U2
name
cover
somewhere.
band
Yeah.
songs.
U2 cover songs. Okay.
So the songbird of your generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Fergie and Jesus. And Bono. Throwing a little Bono with a little Fergie and
Well,
Jesus.
what's funny about it, Fergie was with Black Eyed Peas, right?
Yeah.
First time I ever watched U2 live was with Black Eyed Peas opened for U2
U2?
in Norman,
It's a
Oklahoma.
weird combo.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's new knowledge for me.
It is a weird combo.
Dude,
Wow, this is interesting.
you're just
We're going
so-
all over the
You're
place
so
tonight.
deep.
This is
You're
a
so deep.
very
What was
weird.
that? We had a little.
That was a little electrical.
What about this AC unit kicking in? This is-
You know,
all
they
good.
can't hear that much
all right,
through the
all right.
mics.
We'll knock it out.
So,
It's all good.
so okay, so help me draw the connection here. So
All
now
right,
you're,
so
you're
yeah,
making all the
t-shirt printing.
merch.
Yeah. So we get all that going, and you know, everyone's like, we got to figure out what's going to happen with fishing YouTube. Rob Turkle's out there just getting everybody stirred up. You know,
No,
never.
not him.
He's back on the Twitter.
So
back in the day.
Rob comes and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna do this thing called Googan Squad. Can you make us a logo and brand and a T-shirt?"
Okay.
And we do the first one. And Rackley's not even part of Googan. at this point.
This was a year.
I remember
in
that.
advance.
This is pre-Rackley,
Yeah.
and we make a T-shirt, and it sells several tens of thousands of units in about a week's time. It was very successful, and I think everyone was just kind of like, "Hey, there's maybe something here. Like maybe this is a thing."
For sure.
And so the rest is kind of
Well, eventually,
there's
it
a
was
lot
like,
of a lot of
there's
stuff.
a lot of in between, but it was like we this is not working us running ourselves. We need
somebody.
We need somebody.
Okay.
And Matt was like everybody's somebody. So, it just kind of
Everybody raised their hands
hey,
like,
buddy.
I know him.
Yeah.
I trust him.
Yeah, that's kind of
That's our guy.
I don't guess I realized that basically the Googan was started with a T-shirt design, and I didn't know that.
So
Did you?
going
No,
back
I
to like 2015,
It's kind of a joke.
2016, like on YouTube, like how you made money was through merch. Like that's how you made money. Like,
Yeah.
you got views, but then like sell that merch and make money. So
Sure.
trying to survive.
That's very interesting.
And then we
I had
turned
no
merch
idea.
into baits.
You have done a fantastic job.
That was
sir.
that was the model basically. Started with shirts.
I mean, yeah, we just made a giant leap from T-shirts to baits. So, I mean, I kind of want to hear that too. Like, how do you? So, you kind of come in as manager Matt. Mm-hmm. Like, listen, I got you guys. I'm gonna run this, help you guys take it to the next level.
Well, I think so. The baits had already been in the works,
Right?
and this is where the story gets a little twisted.
little mixer.
So, we had some partnerships, or Googan had some partnerships at the time, and the bait making stuff was going. I think the issue was it was just a lot of young guys getting into a business, like it's a real business, and like no one realizes that at the time. And it's like, what kind of decisions are you making?
Bunch of idiots.
As you
Basically.
set up the business.
Fresh,
Yeah, and
That's why we need a guy like Matt.
So that's
honestly.
where they kind of came to me. It was like, hey, we just need help running. We need help running the business.
I got you.
And so Googan Baits is going, like it had started getting off the ground. So, I'm sure every rumor in the world has been out there about what Googan Baits is. I don't know. Steve Parks was the guy that we approached to help design the baits, which I'm sure most people know. Steve Parks is the man behind Rage Tail.
Rage Tail, yeah.
Maybe some folks don't know that, but
No, I think there's actually, you're probably right. There's a lot
I
of
think
people
the
that don't
majority
know
of people
that.
do not know.
the thing is just Strike King. But Strike King approaches Steve to use his patents,
Yeah.
and make the bait, which is the same thing that we did.
Yeah, like Strike King. Now, today, this might be different, but at the time, like Strike King didn't own Rage Tail. I don't know if that's the case today.
Sure.
But that's how the original relationship was, and they just licensed this patent from Steve Parks.
Sure.
Which was no different than how we got started. We said, hey, Steve, and the patent, I don't even know if everyone knows what the patent is. Like the patent
No, we don't explain it to us.
is just, so it's basically on the end of the cross, it's a 90-degree ridge.
Yep.
And right at the end, that's the patent. The patent is this 90-degree ridge.
Makes it go
and it
flappy.
makes it do this.
That's what I thought it was as well. That's what I thought.
So it's not like the design of a whole bait. Like it's not.
Yeah,
It's
I thought
just
it was
this
that.
one little.
It's just
piece.
that 90-degree little.
Yeah, and people have knocked it off from as soon as he did it, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is the greatest flapping
Moves water.
crawl ever." Everyone's out to knock it off. Like we were like, "No, let's not knock it off. Let's just go
Let's
license
just go
it
to
from
the guy who has the patent.
Yeah. So we pay him. Like it's not like we just took the patent and put it on our bait and then never told him.
Which
about it.
other
Like,
companies had used the patent too? Like we weren't the only.
We're not the first
Sure.
ones.
I mean,
so.
I've at least seen that design on multiple.
I do remember that going to ICAST that year. There was a little bit of buzz about,
scuttlebutt.
Yeah, scuttlebutt. That's a great word. Scuttlebutt.
I don't even know what
about
that means. So
Just little whispers, little talks.
little issues.
Yeah.
gotcha.
And Googan was brought up like, oh, how did they get that? Which clearly you guys did it the right way. You got the license from the patent holder himself.
Man. Yep.
Yes.
and I
we
did not
got
know
it.
that either. So that's news to me. Like I'm sure it's news to a lot of people that are probably listening. So
Yeah, I mean, there was nothing. I mean, we paid them the royalty that he asked for, everything about it. I think we didn't realize everyone was going to get such a fuss about using this patent because it's on multiple baits. It's not on just the Rage Tail. I mean, there's other companies that have this patent on it, and no one said a word about it. And it's like Googan doesn't. It's like the end of the world.
But do you think a lot of that hate, it not necessarily came from that in itself? It was because of the Googan squad and who they are. Because haters are haters, bro. And
Yeah,
like it's
but they're looking for like. I think what they try to do. Yes, they're haters, but then they're looking for like, how do you give a legitimate reason not to like these guys? And it's like, well, they copied Rage Tail. It's like no, we licensed the patent and we used the designer. Now,
correct.
Down the road, like that lasted like maybe a year. We actually used the patent, and then we got tired of listening to everybody kind of give us crap about it, and we just said, screw it, we'll just make another patent. which is now on the bait. So like we're not even using the old rage tail patent. It's our patent, which is the V Ridge, which honestly it gives it more dispersion in the water than the current.
Yeah, and that's that.
Rage tail patent.
I said that's that.
And that is that.
That's it. That's
No, that was.
Well, I mean, this is the juice. So I mean, that's. I think. I mean, being in the fishing industry and I guess from the competitive side and just all I fish in college, so I hear the younger generation, the older guys, like I hear all of it as Shane does too, especially at Tackle Addict, and those are the kind of things that are talked about, rumor spread, and it's nice to kind of clear that up and hear the true side of it,
So from y'all's side, what was the
real
word on the street?
That was the main thing, at least from my end, was the Strike King deal. Like that was most of the slack, I think, from my end. I don't know about you, Shane, but that's the Strike King deal was a big deal at the time. So I was at ICAST
that year when you guys had kind of come out and you guys didn't have a booth. You had a suite at a hotel across the street.
So,
yeah.
Well, that was the second.
We're sneaky. We got a hotel
Which we can
room.
give a whole story about that too.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And
We're 15 minutes in. We got
Rackley on. You kind of touched a little, not about that situation, but about how when y'all were like on the come up, like people were kind of like not interested. You know what I mean? And as you came up,
you're talking about like making products and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever we were talking about on the last podcast. Well, we had him on.
Yeah.
You kind of discussed that.
I think we were talking about like it was so hard as when YouTube was young for all of us try to get sponsors.
That's exactly.
And we were going to ICAST and like trying to pitch like, hey, to these companies, like, guys, YouTube's a thing. Like, these are the numbers. Check it out. And the big companies are just like, it's kind of bad. It's like crypto is right now. It's probably going to be like the thing, in 10 years. But right now we're like,
they didn't see it.
They didn't see it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I will say that we are fully supportive of ASA, and we pay our dues to ASA, and we are going to have
We're fully part of the industry. We love being a part of it with everyone, and
I think we just had a little misunderstanding between both sides.
No, I definitely think in the beginning there was that old guard that was kind of like, hey, man, what's this thing here? These fancy kids with their cameras and their GoPros and whatnot and their 4K and like,
I think that it's difficult. It's
they're 4K.
I mean, it's 4K.
Our goal is to 100% support the fishing industry. Like, there's nothing that we are ever trying to do to take away from the fishing industry.
Grow it.
We want to grow it. Like everyone wants a healthy
100%.
fishing industry. Like we're not.
Grow it helps everyone.
To be honest, we want to be a part of it. We want to be a part of the fishing industry. Like we don't want to be the outcasts of the fishing industry.
I will speak for the industry and say that you have solidified your place, and it's probably very, very high to the top, if not at the top.
Oh man,
you guys have kind of taken over.
To hear that from the mayor of Rayburn,
man. I mean,
Mayor of
cheers,
Basstown.
Sorry, cheers.
The mayor of Basstown. I got a Miller. I'll cheers you though.
No, but seriously, like I remember in the beginning, I remember that particular ICAST. Everybody's like, all right, they're here, but they're off site. And there was all kinds of rumors flying around the ICAST floor, like they were banned, they were kicked out, they weren't allowed to be there.
So wow,
that was the rumor.
Wow.
So the first year we launched Googan Baits was 2018. That ICAST, we had the booth at ICAST and did the launch, and there was the big hoopla.
Yeah.
So what happened though the day before ICAST starts? It's that they have that on the water. Is it called what's it called? On the water.
Yeah. There's a tournament.
No, it's not. It's not the tournament. It's on that. It's in that little pond out in front of the.
Yeah, it's like little booths set up by the water.
It's like it's like almost like a demo day. Like you can go out there and like check out some of the stuff. So, anyways, we had approval. We were like, hey, we want to do like kind of a meetup out there. We're all in Florida at the time. We want fans to come. That's the one chance. It's not at the actual show. Can we have a meetup? And they were like, yes, you guys can. And they said. We even said, put us at the very end of the whole thing so we don't disrupt everybody. And that's exactly
knowing what was going to happen.
Trying to be courteous.
We knew that there was going to be 1 billion people show up there. And sure enough, 1,000 people show up in line. And I don't know, it just turned into this whole thing of like ASA was mad because we had people like,
it was a mess too because they were standing in line for like hours. So we got waters and pizzas sent in because we felt bad. So people were waiting for so long. And
I do remember you saying
it was like a union thing. ASA didn't like that we were bringing in food because they had food trucks.
Their vendors.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it was like, we're just trying to help people because,
they're out here in Florida. It's hot. It's July. Come on, man.
Like, just trying to help people
Let's
out.
get them some Little Caesars and some agua here.
And it's rare you have everybody
back before
together,
COVID.
too. So it's rare to have everyone together in one place. And so it's like, here's a chance for the fans to come and do what they want to do. Take a picture, sign something, whatever it might be.
Hang out for a bit.
And
I can understand their stink just a hair because the ICAST is really not a consumer show.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why we asked for permission.
Yeah. Man, you did it the right way.
I don't know what else to do.
Man, like I said, I think it was just the old guard. They're like, what is this? Like, this is nonsense. They're making a mockery of the industry, which maybe a little bit the Googan name kind of was a little bit of that. But you guys have done a phenomenal job building a brand around that, and it's a legit thing.
The idea is like, we're not pros, but we're just having a good time. And I think that's the average person.
But now you guys have seemed to shift a little focus because, not to tell things I'm not supposed to tell, but
you know all, Shane.
This is
You're
the
in the
juice.
tight
There
circles.
are some baits. You guys are serious, like serious now.
Yeah.
There's some baits coming.
All genres.
Well, there's some baits out there. I mean, the Bandito bug.
I'm assuming that you're talking about swim baits.
Well, you want to talk about those? We're happy to talk about it.
Because it seems like you were going there, maybe a Zaldane whisper.
Okay, yeah. We'll lay it out whatever we're allowed to lay out.
I'm just going to say, we got one of the best swim baiters on the team. We're not just going to let him hang back and not design a swim bait
that he wants.
I
mean, the exact swim bait Chris Zaldane wants is being built.
Love it.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
Yeah,
You've seen it.
I've seen it, and
that's
I
interesting.
jacked like 12 out of your goodie bag. You said
You
grab
take whatever you want. So if you guys want to come see the mayor of Basstown, he may have.
No, I don't.
He may have some secret goodies.
If I happen to do well in a derby upcoming, it had nothing to do with a secret swim bait prototype. None of that. None of that. Just regular old Bandito bug.
Just regular Bandito. That's all you need. I mean, the Bandito bug's all you need.
It catches.
That's what everyone,
bug is the drug.
everyone says. I was asking everyone at the Classic, what's your favorite bait? Bandito bug. Ain't nothing but Bandito bug, man. It's
how many? Here's
explicit.
How many Bandito bugs do you see on decks of boats?
A bunch.
You see a bunch?
Yeah. I mean, it's a great bait. It's a very, very versatile bait. Jig trailer, Carolina rig bait, wobblehead bait.
But no one will say they got it. No one will admit that they.
Nah, man. I think that's you guys have really, really shifted the tide here. It's no longer and I hate to even use the word gimmick. It's no longer that anymore. I mean, you guys are a legit brand to contend with. You guys are making product. You guys have hired a serious team. I know some of the cats that you got working for you now.
Yeah, I mean these are good friends of yours.
Yeah, they're real people who know what they're doing, and so you guys are doing phenomenal things. So
I mean, Trey Epic, former head of all North America Shimano. I don't know if it gets much better than
man.
that. And we have some rods coming down the road that are you also touched those this week.
Dude, you've been golly.
Did I?
Shane's in deep, boys.
Did I?
Are you on the pro staff right now?
Speaking of pro staff, picked up a few names recently, at least that I've seen, and I'm a kind of a I know who's with who, and as far as pros go. So, what was that like? I mean, as far as you just mentioned, Chris Zaldane and swim baits, and he's been with a swim bait company that's well known, national brand, stable in the industry. So surely that wasn't an easy shift, and I understand he's designing a swim bait, which is amazing, obviously, because Chris
Glad to
Zaldane,
hear.
he throws it right. It's legitimate, but when you see guys like that make a shift, I'm not the only one who wonders this. You have to wonder, man, like that's got to mean something. There's something there. He sees something.
This is part of it. And this is for a couple of guys that we've hired, is working for some of these Japanese companies.
Okay.
They just don't have a ton of input in, or they'd like to see changes that just don't, they just don't happen. We're just open. So come and do your thing, and
I see.
we'll make it happen. Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, with Chris, I mean, it was definitely not an easy. I mean, Chris he was with Megabass for like
Forever.
for 13, 14
As long
years,
as I
something
know.
like that.
Yeah.
Great company.
Great company. But Chris got to a point, like, I think there's just things that he wants to do, and there was holes that we needed filled from like a guy like Chris to tell us, what do you want built, and like what fits in these certain spaces that Chris does that's become super popular. I mean, this whole swim bait thing's gotten
big kick,
hugely popular.
And we're not going to pretend to be swim bait experts, you know. I mean, you know, crickets, soft plastics. You know, that's one thing.
Yeah, with that being said, though,
I don't know. It's a different category.
With a guy like that, I mean, at least obviously he's going to be honest, and he's helping you design something that he thinks is
very honest.
Yeah, I mean, he works with our engineers. I mean,
right,
on a daily basis. Like these guys.
That's just a question because I know a lot of people thought the same thing, right? Like, I think one of the bigger.
He gets free reign basically to design.
I think that's a big piece, but the other side of it too is you start looking at all these anglers now. What professional fisherman doesn't have a YouTube channel at this point? Like,
some, but they're not near as successful as the ones that do, right? Like they're not like the total package, like I'd say a Brandon Paul and a Jacob Wheeler, Dustin Connell. Those guys are the total package. They're the most marketable anglers in the industry because of their YouTube presence, and they catch them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, that's
great on camera.
Zaldane's amazing on camera. He's an awesome dude just to hang out with. And
good representative of the sport.
Yes,
in general.
I mean, Bass loves him. I mean, he's all over anything that they put out, and his YouTube channel is really, really good. I mean, his content's great. He fits everything that you would look at Googan. Googan makes YouTube videos, and we're entertaining, and we fish, and we do all these kinds of things, and then we make baits, and like, Chris is just, he brings all of that entertainment value, and then he brings the validity that we want to bring into the Googan brand or any other brands that we're
he's just a super marketable angler.
He is.
So with that being said, as a guy that, you know, we got younger guys that watch our show, especially high school, college anglers. I mean, would you would express that, I would assume, to maybe get your social media and your YouTube presence kind of started while being a tournament angler and on the come up? Because what also with that, would you say as a tournament angler, it is kind of tough just to be that and not as marketable as a guy that does it?
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Yeah, 100%.
That's why I started, because I knew, I was like,
you knew.
I am not good enough to just go out here.
Come on now, right?
Dude, I tried, but like I was competing against these guys, and I was like, I need to do something else to kind of support this.
Right.
I want to be in the industry somehow, and I looked at guys like Zona, and you know, I mean, just influencers like that, and that it's like, you know, they're not fishing the tour, but man, dude, I'd love to hang out with that guy. Like, that's fun.
Sure.
Like, it just looks fun and entertaining.
Agrees with that with Zona.
And, you know, I was at the time I was fishing on fork a ton and guiding, just had the time to do it. And I was like, I'll just throw this in between. But now, I think it's a good thing to have.
But you came in at
a
really good time.
Yeah.
Like you were like one of the
5
OGs.
people when it started. Yeah.
Like, I think people look back at that and say, man, I'd like to do that. But the market's a little saturated now with the YouTube.
Dude,
so.
it's so...
We were talking about this last
thousands.
time.
It's like going to a pressured lake.
How much harder is it now, though?
It's
like
so much harder now. It's like you said, it's like going to a pressured lake.
High pressured lake.
Correct.
Like, if you're trying to put out a video about how to catch a bass on a jig right now, well, there's thousands of videos. So what do you need to do to get views?
Yourself?
How do you separate yourself? And I think it's... people just get attached to your personality and what you're doing. Like, you know, if they just want to hang out with you or whatever. But as far as informational videos, you can look up anything now. It is endless.
It's been countless hours.
How many live scope videos are out there now? It's insane. You can look up anything you want to do.
I mean, not like there's not any like me and Shane got coming, but there is some decent ones.
Yeah,
I will say that for sure.
So I think it's hard to come up with content.
It is, man, it kind of sucks, right? Like, because you see some of these kids and they're young and they're hungry, and it's like, man, like what they want to know, like what do I got to do to separate myself? You know, it's so hard to have that right answer. I think the industry as a whole is just in a really weird spot for those guys. For those guys coming up, you know, it's just a weird spot.
I mean, dude, looking at YouTube, the guys that are successful aren't the guys that copy other people. It's just finding who you are,
finding your niche,
and when you figure that out, those are the ones that are the most successful.
Yep,
it's not copies of something else.
Yeah,
that's hard to find though. That's hard to do.
That was deep.
Don't be boring.
Don't suck.
Don't suck on camera.
But hey, how long did you do YouTube videos before it like took off?
Oh man, probably 4 or 5 years.
Hundreds of videos.
Yeah, hundreds of videos before it really. I was like, wow, this is a thing. Yeah.
You started what year? Because you just celebrated like 12 years, wasn't it, or something like that?
I think we're on 13 now because I think I started.
Showing your age a little bit there.
Dude, I am.
Old
I'm well into a decade. I know that.
It's probably just because he yacked for like.
Was YouTube color back then?
It was color, but it was 4x6. It was the different size. It wasn't the 16:9. So some of my old videos are uploaded in that like square looking. Yeah.
Oh man.
When was
the size is cut down.
You had a few that really helped though, right? Like
the 25 pounds and 2 casts?
that's
Was that
my
the
favorite.
That was the one that kind of got shit
So what was
going.
that like?
Oops. Cursed. Apologize.
How many
You're
fish?
fine.
How many fish and what size were they all?
We'll mark that at 30 minutes and 55 seconds.
Sorry, what?
I was just asking how many fish was it, what size, all that. I don't remember.
So it was. I think it was like a 9, a 6, and a couple of 5s or something like that.
Those 4
all together.
fish?
Yeah, and then I had a third one on. The first. So this is when A-rigs were like
awesome.
coming out.
Yeah,
And I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
dude,
Oh,
I don't
okay.
really know how to fish this, but this just seems like a thing for right now. And it was like pre-spawn. It's like right before they were moving up, and I was on a big point, and I threw it out there. I was like, yeah, it looks like there's some. And then I'm like, oh, feels heavy. And then as I looked down in the water, as I reeled it all the way in, I could see 3 fish on it. I was like, oh my gosh, there's 3 fish. And then one of them broke the barrel swivel, and I came out with 2 5s. And then next one was like a 9 and a 6. It was crazy.
So basically,
I was like, this is going to be, I'm going to hit it. I'm going to be KVD after this. I'm going to be KVD. And I uploaded it, and the first day, I think it got like, I don't know, 800 views or something like that. And I was like,
That was a lot back then.
This is going.
so
And,
basically,
yeah.
that's what y'all guys got to do. You gotta
You
gotta
do have to have some like
catch giants.
good content to kind of get you up. But if you do get a good video that people like and want to see more of, just build on it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Consistency, too. Regular
Consistency.
upload.
Yeah, if you're gonna just do a regular report, weekly update, at least weekly.
So is there, I've heard this term thrown around here, and excuse my ignorance, and you're probably going to laugh at me, but algorithm.
100%.
The demon of YouTube.
Are you asking if there is one?
Yes.
But
Yeah, 100%.
would you say you figured it out?
No one has ever figured it out, ever.
Gotcha.
There was a time where I felt like I could. This was probably 4 or 5 years ago. I could go in and mess with the thumbnail, title, and some of the tags and description, and I could manipulate that video.
You're counting cards.
Get going. And this was back before. This is back before clickbait was like, well, it was starting to get going, but like, if you could do a kind of a exciting title and mess around with some tags, like you could get it going.
This
to a
was
million
like
views.
catching bass with a Barbie rod era.
Exactly.
This is that.
I remember
Yeah. This is a bass out of a sewer, wrestling a catfish in my backyard, whatever it is. It was like when that stuff would pop off when it was so fresh and just the internet hadn't seen it. Now there's thousands of videos like that. Yeah. So now it's just, I think, keeping it real and
So, okay. You had a pretty passionate reaction to the word algorithm. I want to hear what.
You can't beat it now.
Oh, it's no one can.
You can't beat
You
it.
cannot crack the code.
No, not now.
You got to have watch time. So that is a thing, but like 90% of views now are just suggested. So if YouTube puts you in the suggested algorithm, that's when you go. And there was a time where I was like, I just know I'm in that. And then when you get out of it, when you get
Or when
out of the
YouTube takes
stream,
you out of it because
when
you did something. That
if you do something and YouTube just takes you out and you get out on that little side stream, that's like where the trout live and nothing's really moving there. That's where I am right now. But like,
I think it's all
the stream.
All outdoor channels are there right now.
It's tough, man.
I
It's
do
tough.
have a theory that outdoors, and because it would be considered a conservative.
Oh, weird.
I know we're going there today, but I mean, this is what I truly believe. I believe that there is a bit of censorship because it is connected to
large conservative
thoughts.
parties.
Yeah.
They're linked to conservative groups.
Oh my goodness.
I have no proof of this, and this is literally just me, Alex Jones, conspiracy theory in this. But I
dig it though.
Dude, here's what I don't understand about that is like, there's all these companies. Let's think of like the Remingtons and the Fords of the world that should be wanting to advertise on that.
They are still advertising. There's not advertising on that, and it's YouTube's choice. YouTube's the one that
Google getting enough money from other advertisers that they don't need those.
Maybe there's like,
conservative-based
well,
advertisers.
Cabela's isn't giving us enough money to advertise, so we want to throw
Their budget's smaller.
Yeah, maybe. I don't
Let's
know.
go hit
There's
up.
got to be some politics
It's
in
not
it.
that. It's all politics.
It's got to be a little.
Using a gun to shoot something or whatever. It might, like
I do think that.
that flags you. I think there's stuff that's flagged in our stuff at this point because
You get labeled conservative.
One guy in the group that he still gets great views and he's never done anything other than a fishing video is John B.
John B is the king of fishing YouTube.
And it's probably he probably still gets
Fast
great
fishing.
views just because he first of all he makes amazing content, but
Yeah, he's good.
he stays on that. Every one of us, everyone else has deviated in some way. Like I do, like hunting. Like I switched to hunting in the fall and stuff like that. And I do, I don't know, other stuff sometimes, vlogging. But John is like straight on the fishing.
Because there's all this stuff around harming animals in YouTube's guidelines.
That's coming.
And so when you think about poking a fish with a hook,
That's coming.
what do you think YouTube's going to do about that at some point if they take it to the extreme?
Hold on, don't call it out. We don't need to draw the attention of the PETA freaks.
Oh, it's already out there.
This is going to happen because hunting, we've already seen this on the hunting side. Like, dude, it's tough like to make a rifle season video and not get, suppressed.
Just get some sort of censorship.
Especially you're in Texas, seeing strap on 100 different type of accessories on that gun.
Yeah,
You don't
So
want to share that.
they'll censor that right now on YouTube.
Yeah, if they see like a suppressor or if you
I didn't
say
know
that word or anything, like a lot of people that do gun videos,
Hey, this one's being censored
like
now.
there's a robot that picks up the word gun and they'll hear like shots. So some people use
I'm just really I'm
different
kind of
words.
sketched out now, man.
I mean, have you ever been like driving down the road and you and your buddy are talking about something
all
something
the
random,
time.
and then all of a sudden you start getting Instagram ads?
we got to
about
get
it?
off this topic then because we're not going to get very many views because they're going to censor us.
We're probably not gonna make it out of here, man.
Sorry, we're not. We're in the internet juice here. You want to get back to the
No,
the
man,
fishing?
the internet juice is good too. Because
The thing is, I think
are concerns
it's,
you guys face.
it's going to go back to it's going to go to fishing eventually, where they're like, well, they're harming an animal. They're putting a sharp object through its face and then bringing it in.
We're swacking them.
sound like
God
that.
forbid they
I hit 'em
fillet it.
hard.
Because there's
I hope I do. I hope I do.
Exactly. We all love to do that.
I want to
but
remember the day.
YouTube will understand if there's blood on the screen. So I mean, think about
Oh,
hooking
very
a
true.
fish a certain way,
Very
and
true.
it starts bleeding, and like all of that stuff starts throwing up all the flags.
So your opinion / conspiracy / fact is that the liberal media,
Which is all media,
well, so
all of it, it's owned by.
correct?
especially YouTube.
Listen, we're not trying to turn into Joe Rogan podcast over here. We're going.
we're not.
We
trying-
might.
We might.
Joe, coming, baby.
Joe, juice is
out.
coming.
Man, we've had some really juicy topics.
Wow, that was
So I think that's coming. I think that's coming down the road.
Wow.
But maybe not for a while. I don't know. Hopefully not.
Man, I hope not. I mean, it would help if you didn't say putting a sharp object through a fish's face. I mean, that was a little graphic.
Yeah.
But that's how they're going to view it. That's
Yeah, you're right.
everyone that is
And that's
making
what it
fishing
is.
YouTube videos right now needs to be aware that it's
That's
gonna
what
happen.
it is, and we love it.
That is what it is.
love it
We
when it
love
happens.
But when we crappie fish, we're a lot more delicate.
I know.
They got
You
softer
know what I mean?
mouths.
It's like
or we would swack them too.
Real into them.
They would get it too.
My view is like when they take the bait, I want it back. I'm like, give me that. Don't take it.
Are you a slackliner?
Not with crappie, but with
I'm talking
bass.
bass.
Sometimes,
You
like
slackliner?
if I see that line running, I'm like, watch, he's running a little bit. Oh, get down.
In fact, you did that today.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yesterday,
I let him run.
He
dude.
said, "I refuse to set the hook unless they're running with it." Like I know he's got it.
Got it down there
I know
going.
he's got it, swallowing it, but he won't run.
You always tell when Rackley's getting a bite, he's like, look at my line, guys. Look at my line.
You're
Look
gonna
at my line."
swim. You're gonna swim.
3 feet to the right, you're mine. Stay still, I might let you go.
That's the deal, man.
Man, so speaking of that, we've had a decent day and a half on Rayburn. It wasn't great. The bass have they've gone in this weird transition a little bit on us. But
Depends on what you define as great, because I think we had a great.
We've had a great time.
To be fair, they haven't went out with me.
I know you guys whack them.
To be fair,
here we go.
You've caught a big one this week.
Yeah, and we heard you caught a mondo. Like
it was an 8.
Damn near at the surface.
At the surface.
I taught the kid everything he knows,
Close.
so
I will give Shane some credit.
Some credit.
I've learned a lot. I have. I learned a lot from Shane. I hope I carry it on.
nah, man, I've learned from you.
But yeah, maybe we can. Maybe tomorrow we figure something out.
We all go.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Yeah.
It's be blowing out there
But
tomorrow,
there's-
too.
Is it really?
I think a little bit.
It might get them going.
Rayburn doesn't
dude.
even get rough, so
Never.
No, I've never been on it rough.
The
ever.
thing I love about this lake is it does get rough, but dude, you just go down the bank. You're like, that looks bassy, that looks crappie. I'm keeping both rods and I'm doing both as I'm going.
Yeah.
And it's just constant entertainment.
It is a magical place. We were talking
It's
about
awesome.
it. We always talk about where do we get lake houses? Where should we get lake houses?
This is a good one.
It is a very, very special place because, I mean, honestly, like the fishing wasn't great today on the bass side, but still we're catching them. I mean, it's not like you go to some
We
lakes,
weren't
it's like,
grinding either.
man,
Oh, dude. Yeah.
like
Oh,
we're
some
fishing
lakes
for
are-
5, 6, 7 bites.
You
a
hear some of
day.
these stories from other guys around just the country in general. You know, some of the guys I take out on guide trips and they're like, dude, you have no idea how blessed you are to be here. You know, so I think take that for granted sometimes.
Oh,
out
yeah.
Here, but
So where's like the highest concentration of your guide clientele coming from?
man, that's an interesting. That's kind of for me. It may be different for me. Some of the older guys that have been guiding out here for a little bit, they've got their book of business built up. I'm sure a lot of those are local. For me, it's social media has helped me a tremendous amount. So I get them.
Is there like a certain area of the country though they're coming from, or is it?
Not really. This time of the
A
year,
lot of snowbirds, I'd say.
northern. That's what I was about to say. Minnesota, some Missouri, some guys from that general area. I'll get a lot of those, but I will say it's kind of different for me because of social media for Instagram and Facebook. That's where I get some business, and then the word of mouth is kind of my local guys. So kind of a mix for me. It's a little different, but
What's the wackiest person you've ever taken out?
here we go.
Like weirdest.
Well,
How weird did it get?
hopefully they don't listen to the podcast.
Did you tell them about it on your trip?
No, man, I did have this one guy one time, kind of an aggressive guy. Just these coots. This is kind of just not crazy, but it is a little weird, right? Like these coots were.
It get kind of dark.
I kind of got the dark vibe from him the whole time.
Boy.
And then he threw out there and caught this coot on purpose with a trap, right?
Oh no.
And he reels it in like super good. I'm like, dude, hey, don't get that bird in my boat. Like he's gonna go crazy. Dude.
Yeah.
Like there's no telling.
They
this
have
thing's-
talent, seriously.
Dude, and
they're
he-
long.
He freaking winches like he's got a fish, dude. He's winching that thing in there, grabs it by the neck, wrings his neck, undoes his trap, and throws it in the lake. And I'm like, you good, bro? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, all right,
Whoa.
man. So, yeah, that's kind of the weirdest thing. Didn't tell me he was about to do it, just kind of just did it.
Just ring-necked a bird.
Yeah.
Dropped it back.
Look, man, I'm young. Like, whatever these guys want to do. I'm just trying to make some money. If they want to sit and talk, like,
Man, if you want to kill coots, call
Whatever you're
Wyatt
into,
Frank.
bud.
He'll take you coot hunting.
I'm out there for a day on the water. Okay?
Coots
You
with
do what
rattle
you
traps.
like.
Coot choking surface.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
it was
it's kind of
interesting.
weird. Yeah.
That's a lot weirder than I expected.
It was, guys, it was probably in a dark place. He
You
looked like he felt better afterwards. So,
Like that helped him.
Like a little relief.
right.
Well, that's eerie.
Yeah.
Guy needs to sniff a fish.
Eerie.
What else you got, Shane?
Yeah, what else do we got?
What's on the docket?
Man, there's no.
You brought
docket.
up an
We don't-
interesting topic to me earlier at the house. What we were talking about
What were we talking about?
Let's talk about what we were talking about in the back of the truck before we started recording.
back at the truck.
This is one of the best conversations.
Oh,
happen. Back
boy.
in
We
the
were eating
truck.
crawfish,
Back of the truck,
bed
eating
tops.
crawfish
drinking
before we
adult beverages. What was talked about?
we were talking about. Well, he brought up Formula One, but most
Oh,
of our
okay.
viewers don't
And
understand what Formula
we've
One
talked
is.
about this a
It's
little
like
bit.
NASCAR, but for rich people.
It's a global racing circuit.
I mean,
It's a global
I figured at this
They do
point.
more than take a left
Have
turn,
you not
right?
watched the Netflix series?
And it's back up.
F1.
F1.
We had a little computer
F1.
shutdown.
We're
Yeah,
talking about-
for all you iMac users out there, if you don't plug it in, it'll eventually run out of battery.
I think that might be any computer.
It's a thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's just like your boat.
Yep.
I learned
Yep.
so much. I learned.
Did you
so
plug in the
much.
boat tonight, by the way?
Not
I plugged,
yet.
I plugged.
Okay.
No, I did. I plugged
did?
it. Yeah, before we left,
Saw
I
you
plugged it in.
left the grouse on.
Guy. All right, so we were going to talk about a NASCAR format. I'm going to use
F1.
NASCAR. I know you like F1, but
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it not essentially the same thing? It's like a team,
all the same.
Sort of, but
team racing.
It's about
team fishing.
Well, it's more of a franchising model. Think of NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA. Think those are franchised models.
Yes.
And I think that's where fishing needs to get to like really. That's the next step because there's how many leagues are there at this point or tours are there at this point?
Too many.
I would say 2 major.
There's two
But there's
majors.
but one of them is like 2.
it's too divided, man. It's
Two,
too.
one of
It used to be like you turned on TV on Saturday morning, you saw ESPN2, Bassmaster, and that was the deal.
That was it.
Sitco presented by Sitco.
Sitco.
Sitco Bassmaster. And,
Yeah.
dude, that
Yeah,
was
that
the
was good.
deal.
Yeah.
Everybody was watching that, and then it just started going all different kinds of directions. And FLW was kind of in the mix, and anyway, we've just gone all around in a tornado with all these leagues. And it's always following like the individual. I think Bass did a good job in the beginning. Like they obviously picked guys they wanted to go around and tell little stories about and stuff. And it was entertaining. But what if you had teams of entertainment and it was fun? You
So
got to
we're
see the guys
talking like
interact.
Team Googan.
Team Googan,
Well,
Team
call it whatever. Call it
Ford.
Team Rayburn. Call
Whatever it
it
is.
Team
Yeah.
Team Bass Pro,
Lakefork,
whatever.
you
If
want to
it
do.
could be a
Like,
brand.
do
or
it
you
out of the
can-
lakes. I don't know.
If there could be like an individual investor guy that's just like team.
But
I
to,
got Snatch.
but to clear this up, you mean like, Jesus.
Snatches and snatch fish. Get
yeah.
your minds out of the gutters, people.
Right.
Snatching
Snatching
fish. But we're not
to-
talking about the
to-
British thriller Snatch. We're talking about
Right.
That's a good movie, by the way.
Right.
It is a good
Great
movie.
movie.
But to
Jason
clear that up,
Statham
you
was in
mean
it, right?
still
Yep.
individuals, but under one umbrella as a team, but still like
Yeah.
individuals, but not
Think
like,
of
you know
like
what I'm saying?
the Chicago Bulls, right? They got
Okay.
okay. So instead of Chicago Bulls, it's the Lake Fork Trophy Bass. I don't know. I don't
Forkers.
Bandito bug.
whatever you want to call them.
All right.
Like,
And those teams compete against each other, but you have a unit working together, and it's all sponsored.
And
Think
those
about-
teams are sponsored by the same
Yes, and you're working
core
together.
group of sponsors.
Now you'll have individual,
Do you, that's when I do you still have
bonuses or
individual
whatever
results
for
or?
placing. Like,
I don't know. Do you turn bass fishing into a true team sport? I mean, when
I
all
like
the way
the
up
team,
until
man.
pro fishing, it's all team, right?
100%,
it's a lot of
man.
it.
That's kind of been my thing. I was like, man, we team fish until we feel we're good enough to go off on our own.
Yeah,
But
the
all
thi-
yeah.
But also from like a money making standpoint, I mean, this is a business at the end of the day. All these things.
This would
how
grow
do
the
you
sport.
How do you grow the sport and get more
Big.
views?
I truly believe that the only way our sport's going to grow is we have to have people who don't fish consume the call it content.
Yeah.
They have to watch and appreciate fishing, even though they don't.
That don't
partake
tournament
themselves.
fish?
Like
Or
I
what do you mean
watch football, but I don't play
It
football.
just gets them into fishing. They're like, you know what? I'm going to go out to my local pond
This
this,
is pretty
week.
cool.
I mean, the other side of it too, I think that I don't think it's there yet, but in order for a sport to be a sport, you have to be able to bet on it.
They
And
did-
there-
Is there true betting right now on
Kind,
fishing?
I haven't seen it firsthand, but Bally's just did open up
They
sports
just
betting
started?
for MLF.
Yeah, for
And I have
MLF they
no
did.
idea what the bets
I have
are.
no
I don't
idea
know.
how it
But
works.
I
No
think
idea.
that's also the next thing. It's like how much more can you get into the betting side of it and the team aspect? I mean, you can do betting on the individual side, but I think betting is a massive piece of like why people watch these sports too at the same time.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
and I think it'll also change. How nice would it be if you just were on a paid salary to be on a team to fish, and you weren't like paying your own entry.
That's the
fees,
number one
you know?
complaint about everybody in tournament fishing is
100%.
these entry fees. It's like, okay, cool. Then let's put the teams together. The teams are responsible for those.
Man, that's a reoccurring problem we run into with every guest we have is like, why is it that at the highest level of our sport it costs the most to play for the person that's in it?
Because
Right.
they all have to subsidize the payouts.
I guess, but it should be sponsor money that's coming out of it. Like
I know.
a team
So that's
should
why
sponsor their
you got to
guys.
make it entertaining, and I think you got to go teams. And how cool would it be if like you had a location you go back to in the evening, and your team is there, and you got like people that they can work on your tackle and stuff and bring in new products and
like a pit crew.
And like, hey, we heard they were catching
It's like a pit crew.
I don't know, like
Yeah,
a
like, man, you might be able to
rigging your stuff up at night, maybe getting.
Hey man, I need some 14-pound
fill me
mono
up.
on these top water. Can you give me 2 more of those?
That would
Bring
be
me up
hilarious.
this.
Can you fill me up? Or
Give
what's
me
up?
flipping. Yeah, let's
Handle
get
my
it filled
bookings for the week.
Wipe the boat down.
up. Just like F1 and NASCAR.
You rip off a lower unit and they're already back in the garage, right?
And
So
that's
so
more jobs.
For me,
I'm creating more jobs.
For me and probably some other guys that would listen, it sounds great, right? But let's break it down. So you mean like we're under one team, but you still have individual results, or you are each individual adds up and we're comparing teams? Because
I don't think we've gotten to the what's the actual
I don't know
tournament format,
but
from
I mean that would be a big concern because you got some of these guys that we mentioned earlier that have built up their own brand with YouTube channels that have worked their tails off. To be honest, that would say, man, I don't on a team. Look what I've done by myself. Why would I want to backtrack here?
Because
I think there's
be so much bigger.
Think about it. They're how much is any NBA player making right now? Like you start thinking about it in this way of an owner is now backing you. You have contracts. You have deals, and there's accelerators if you're winning tournaments and all this kind of stuff. Like you're a true professional athlete at that point.
Correct. Correct. Yeah, you're
getting
right.
paid by.
Think about it on
organization.
In our scale, like just back it down to a team tournament. Like we strategize. We like to fish with somebody that we get along with, but okay, wait a minute here. Like maybe I am willing to team up with somebody that can help me. We can help each other.
100%.
Maybe we're going to do a lot better together than alone fishing against each other, especially if we got similar styles. So it's like I could totally see the value in that. Somebody like
100%.
And if you're on a big team, like say the Mercedes team,
Mercedes. Okay.
Like,
I see some
you get
Bassels being
all the
towed by
best
G-Wagons.
gear, dude. Like you're running straight. Whatever your favorite boat is, I don't know. What's the best boat out there? Everyone's got
Skeeter.
I can't say.
Can't say.
Skeeter.
Trying them
Team
all
Skeeter over here. Okay,
I might be leading
Probably
Team
should
Skeeter right now.
but
You got the best of the best gear, tackle, whatever, and obviously if you have a branded team, you're gonna run those branded things and it helps grow that brand. But
I'll tow my boat with a G-Wagon.
G-Wagon.
We have a friend that does that actually.
Yeah.
And he's very famous on the internet.
Let me guess, he has a Vexus.
You remember Hector that we talked to last night?
He has a Skeeter.
He has a Skeeter Apex.
That's hilarious.
He pulls a Skeeter with a G-Wagon.
Yeah. He's
No
a straight
lie.
baller.
No.
wow.
Hector sounds like a really
He's a
cool
good time.
cat.
He's a good time.
Good time.
He would support the F1 program, I believe.
100%. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about money, isn't it not? I mean, bass fishing. You're not bass fishing just to catch the fish. Like at this level, you're
Let's
you're
bring it back to
you bass fishing to make money.
Those Sitco days where all the pros were making great money, but it's just huge. It's even bigger than that,
It's more entertaining.
Man, I think this is a job for you, Matt.
No.
Come on, man.
Oh man,
You can handle
I'm not a
Somebody's
I'm
gotta
not a
be there
tournament
somewhere.
director. Or anything.
You're not a tournament director, but you're a tournament owner and CEO.
Yeah, maybe you'll own a team.
Maybe
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 a good team.
a good team would
good.
actually be
Team
pretty legit.
good.
What is good?
So my first love in life was always golf. Like that's the one thing I got into first.
Settled for fishing.
But always had an idea to do a golf brand, and I had the name Good Golf from college, all the way back in my
You bought
college
it back
days.
in college?
I had it. I always said I want to do a brand that's called Good, and then kind of doing the same thing we're doing with Googan.
Came across some young dudes that were doing YouTube.
So for those who don't know golf reference, Wyatt, do you know what good means?
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, you do. Think about it for a second. We're in a match here.
Mm-hmm.
We both staring down 3-foot putts. Nobody wants to hit a 3-foot putt. What do you say?
Oh.
Good.
Ah. I see.
Good.
Good.
Get
Next,
it, man.
next
I
hole.
like it. I
Wow,
dig it.
that's
It's deep.
I dig it.
that cuts deep.
Is that what it means?
It is 100%
Okay.
what it means. When you walk up to,
I was hoping I wouldn't.
you got
totally
two
lying.
you got two shots there. They're pretty close. Yeah, good. That was good.
Good,
Yeah,
good,
okay.
good.
Let's go.
All right. On to nine.
Good because I really don't want to miss
I want to
that.
make that one.
Man, that's
Yeah.
good.
It's good.
It's good. There's a lot of references you can use with good.
Yeah.
You roll up to a nice fishing spot, man. That's the good sitting over there.
Good. Yeah.
And that is pretty cool to watch those guys.
It's the same program.
Doing the same thing. Like those guys, they're just out there having fun. They're not pros or anything. They're just making golf fun, and they're growing the sport and doing the same thing Googan Squad was doing with fishing. So, what's next?
Well, I really want to put the pressure on Matt here. I distracted him with the good thing, but I think you are the guy. What? We all agree that change is needed. And you guys have already started the change.
So what do you think it would take to get...
This is something I want to see from a spectator standpoint.
Man, if I get to pick a team, I'm probably calling you out of retirement. I'm just saying.
Can you imagine me getting up there and sniffing them like Stone Cold Steve Austin, just cracking beers and sniffing fish for team?
We got to talk to TD if we can drink beer.
Sponsored by Googan.
Can we smash beers?
I mean, I feel like that would bring a whole new level. I mean, I think beer should be allowed on the team trail.
I mean, let's make it pro wrestling.
Whoa. I agree.
That's never going to fly. I can promise you
maybe
that.
On the crappie.
See, this is why I can't be tournament.
Yes, you can consume alcoholic beverages on the water.
It would make team tournaments a little more fun.
I definitely think tournaments, we need some unity, and I definitely think the team environment is more entertaining.
Totally.
No one has figured out that it is hard to produce live fishing content. That is a big hurdle there.
That's
There's
where
a lot of dead time.
Guys like Zona.
That's why I think
filling in.
Yeah.
Doing that.
But the team stuff also helps with that. You get guys like
the banter.
You put guys like, for instance, we've got DC and Mark Daniels on our team, and it's like you put those two guys on the boat, you're going to be entertained all freaking day.
And imagine the dramas too. Yeah. The dramas that'll go down between I thought we agreed as a team you were going to hit that hole after we did, but we caught our 20 pounds. And then all that's being recorded,
I mean,
he's got it.
Come on.
How would you feel? You're full bore in this tournament life. Mm-hmm. Do you like it? Not like it? You want to blaze your own trail, or do you want to try to get some unity in the sport?
I mean, unity in the sport is obviously for the better of the sport. I don't know if that necessarily means team tournaments or not. I can see the teams, just like in racing, they're still individual drivers, right? But they're under one umbrella as a team. I can see that, and I can see. I don't know. That's a hard question. I love fishing team tournaments.
But if someone came up to you and you're like, "Hey, I'll sign you to a 2-year contract, guaranteed $150K a year," I don't know.
Say again.
And then you can still have
and you're saying for
an agent that does sponsors.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Teams are going to have salary caps. They're going to have all this stuff that you've seen and all.
Yes.
There's going to be collective bargaining agreements and all this kind of stuff, man.
That's a better option.
I'm glad this is going to be documented on the internet so that we can go back to this and be like, I had the idea. But
you did.
We've talked about
a lot of great ideas.
Someone else just do it.
Well, someone else do it. Someone else do it. Point it back to this video.
No, I can see both sides of it. It's been such an individual sport for so long at the professional level that it's tough, man. It would be.
I know, but if the money was there for all the anglers to make a living, and
that's the whole point of going to the team format. Is to have those unified
and you also get the marketing support of a team that's like, if they're going to put money behind you and push you as their star angler, they're also going to put money in marketing your brand because they want you to be the face. They want you to be the thing that draws people to cheer for their team.
It's
no different.
High flyers or whatever.
I mean, I think there's a better opportunity to make stars in our sport through a franchised model like the NFL or anything else, because the teams are incentivized to make you a star. So I feel like it's a win-win for everybody. Yes, somebody's going to make a lot of money off of it. The casino betting, whatever it might be, or if somebody gets it right and figures out how to merchandise it correctly. But at the end of the day, the taking care of the anglers is important because we want to support having great anglers in the sport, and making easier paths and getting them to be paid better and making it easier to compete should be everybody's goal. And I don't know if we're really doing that at this point. I mean, I've just been fishing little derbies with you guys.
Yeah.
And I see how expensive that is. And I'm not like out there. That's all I do is tournament fish and like make my living off of it. Like I don't know how guys do it. Like it's tough.
You're in the mix right now.
I would say maybe even 90. That might be too low. Of the guys that do it at the professional level, are probably really struggling financially.
Yeah, that's what we said. We said that today at lunch. 10% of the guys are really like making it,
and they're making it. I mean, some of the guys that are making it, they're making it for sure.
They're doing fantastic things. But they've earned that.
They have.
For sure. I mean, anybody who's had any success, whether it's even just winning tournaments and then marketing themselves, they've earned that.
And I will say that here, just in the past few years, there's been some change that has made it a little better. Not good or not up to the standard that it should be by any means. And that goes back to the sponsor dollars are cut thin because you have two organizations between Bass and MLF. And there's a bunch that kind of goes into that kind of stuff. But what the guys that went over to MLF, at least what they did, was cause a creation of change. Because if they wouldn't have left Bass, and they were going to just everything was going to stay the same.
Sure.
So because they left, and I will say that's the one thing that MLF, if they ever did anything right, it's that they created Bassmasters to go down on some entry fees, and they gave the guys quote unquote free entry fees for.
They started the conversation.
Year. They at least did something. And I don't know if it's, as far as their business side goes, was a great decision for them or not. But what they did for the industry did create change. So there is a little, which means that's good, right? Because there's something there.
I appreciate what they're doing there. I mean, I like their format too of the fish, just letting the fish go.
Yeah,
and I think we talked about this on our last podcast of just like
a little bit.
I agree with that.
The conservation of because if we're growing the sport every year and not stocking the lakes every year, gotta take care of them little swimmers,
them little greenies.
I think a lot of people would agree with that. I think it's the format that some people don't like. Like Bassmaster still does that at Texas Fish every year on Fork or wherever they go. They do the catch them and release them. Like it's just the kind of the house.
The idea, I think the whole point we're trying to get to is the idea of the spectators being those who come to the weigh-in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bringing fish to the live
That's
well.
not a thing anymore.
I think in like 10 years, it's not going to be a thing anymore.
I mean, it's what we do. I'm okay with the 5 fish limit, and there's no way. The problem is there's no way to do that at the amateur level, right? At the pro level, you can, right? You got marshals weigh the fish, release them, no big deal. Making the connection so that the spectators who enjoy the sport, who also fish their local team derbies, can kind of have those days where they feel like they're doing what the pros do.
That's tough, man.
Sacking up 5. But I do
do away with weigh-ins, like.
Dude, how many?
It's not a
you
thing,
guys.
Man.
Okay,
they're really not drawing the crowds anymore, are they?
Bassmaster Classic just set the record
at the expo.
At the attendance, at the classic.
But the attendance is counted at the expo.
Okay, maybe so, but there was
I will tell you, it was
in the stands.
It was crazy. We were there. It was that was one of the best attended classics I've seen.
It was good.
Yeah,
but the attendance is counted at the expo, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 100%.
I don't know. That'd be tough.
So
that's tough for me.
You're talking about this 5 bass limit thing.
I'm okay with that format.
No, well, hold on. You live right here on the lake.
Yeah.
You see every tournament, and you're on the lake. Who knows how many days a year? How many fish are dying at these? I know we're getting into some juice here at weigh-ins.
Fatality rate's not as bad as you would think, unless it's in the summer. Summer's bad.
There's some post tournament mortality that goes on. I mean, not every fish, like a lot of fish swim off. They don't make it. I mean, but I will say this. I think Texas Parks and Wildlife does a phenomenal job of managing the resource. And I've had some good conversations on the side. This is probably people we should have on here that have said, look, you cannot hurt the fish population.
In this lake. Is it any lake?
This lake.
But yes, and a lot of resources go into it. There should be.
If you keep grass in it.
Yeah, the grass gives them some habitat. Habitat is always safety for fish, but I mean, look, we're catching numbers. I mean, it's a complicated answer.
Oh wow, this is the mayor of Bass Town.
Political answer.
Oh wow,
I don't think it's that bad.
Sorry,
I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I think certain tournaments are worse than others, right?
But you're never gonna get rid of that at the amateur level.
Look,
no, never.
You talk about like an average dude coming down here to Rayburn that's from, I don't know, Michigan. Mm-hmm. He's gonna come out here and he's gonna try to catch bass out here. What's gonna happen on his first day?
I don't know. He might.
He'll catch fish.
Might.
Yes, he will.
Okay, but
he might.
15, 20 years ago, out here.
Oh, he'd have caught
20 pounds going on the bank.
Probably caught him. A little better.
It's getting worse, right? Not getting better.
Yes, it is getting harder.
That's so hard. I mean,
I guess technology is getting better
for your average fisherman. You're right.
Yes.
Because if I start talking about tournament,
that's also pressure, man. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We need freshies that don't see lures.
Freshies.
More fishies, more fun times.
More fun times.
But I agree with Shane. You'll never get rid of the 5 fish.
You'll just never be able to get rid of that.
At the amateur level.
It's never talked about.
No, you're right, though.
It's never talked. I don't know how many boat ramps we've been on and seen a laundry basket over there and dead fish out by the boat.
You know, the laundry basket tournaments. I'm sorry.
There is a fish kill.
We're, especially this last couple years of COVID, like everyone fishing. It's like that's fine. It's good. Growing the sport. We just need to keep up with putting more fish in the lake or conserving what we got.
Put more grass in lakes. That'd be.
Sorry, we're going.
Sorry, we're
it's a great subject. I think there's too many small ones in Rayburn right now.
But I think that has to do with a age class of fish. Right now, Rayburn has a tremendous. There's a gap in age class. A lot of us tournament anglers talk about this on Rayburn. Like a lot of people, like Derek and Jason, a lot of people we're friends with, we talk to. There's an age gap of fish that is not as plentiful as others, and that is those 4 to 5 pounders. I feel like Rayburn has a large number of 6 to 9 pounders and a tremendous amount of 2 pounders.
Yeah,
but there is an age class that's missing. But if you look back to when those fish would have spawned, the lake was not at a good.
No,
we did not have a good spawn that year.
That's correct.
How do you feel about this year?
This is not going to be a good spawn because the water's low.
You don't think so?
No. It's been a weird, like we were just talking about this today, they weren't really spawning.
If they're not even.
But if they can't hide in the hydrilla or get way back in those bushes and everybody can go through there and pick those bedfish off, it's really not optimal. It's not ideal. It's great. It's fun. It's fun to be able to pick them off in easy places, but
I know.
Ideally, it's not what you want.
Yeah. I know.
So, I don't know.
It sure is fun, though, when you see a big one.
It's hard. That's
I'm not going to say we weren't trying to look for one of those today.
I'm not going to lie. I mean,
no.
I see
that's interesting.
8-pounder on a bed, I'm probably going to spend a while trying to catch it.
Yeah, we would have been there all day, and we'd be going back to it tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until it bites.
So I'm guilty of it, too, as much as I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
But just saying, I just want our
kids
to be able to smack them, too, you know?
Yeah.
Well, my kid will be able to. I don't know about anybody else's.
Well, I'm on empty, so.
What else you got?
Same.
I'm on empty.
Yeah, I mean.
What does that mean?
That means.
What kind of time are we looking at, Shane?
We've only got.
Have we set the record? Yeah, that's all we want to do.
We want to set the record.
I think you got the record on the.
What is this?
I feel like we didn't even get to the juice. I didn't feel like we got to the juice.
Yeah, where are we going?
What juice do you got for us?
I was
juicy
like being
stuff.
prepped for like. Let's
You want to talk about Will Smith slapping the crap out of Chris Rock? Is that juice? You got some insider info on that?
I got nothing else.
Was that real or fake?
Huh?
Real or fake?
Oh, it's 100% real.
Yeah,
I'm real. I'm on Team Real.
Team Real.
All the guys on Facebook. It's fake. They had to make money. They had to get viewers. No, dude.
Will Smith's got some things going on.
And we didn't even get to OHIV. We didn't get to.
OH?
Some people we don't.
What's up?
I think Matt has some things he'd still like to talk about. We could listen, bro. I was split this into part 1, part 2.
No.
Part 2.
No. We're good. We're good.
No, I want to hear it. What do you got? I do want to talk about Ivy. I'm going to call you out for a second, only because I love you.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh.
So we talked about Ivy last year. Do you recall we had a conversation?
Yeah, I remember you guys went out there and.
No, not about us. You guys weren't necessarily interested in.
Sloppy seconds? Is that what you're talking about?
Sloppy seconds.
I mean, we just don't want to hurt people's feelings if we come to the lake.
I think you did a good job, though.
You know what?
You guys went out there and...
I was not there. I wasn't there, but this man was.
Went this year.
But you had to give him the green light because you're CEO. You're El Jefe. El Jefe has got to approve.
I don't tell him where to go and where not to go.
No, you know what? Actually going out there and fishing that hole, I was really curious about it, and I was wondering. I was like, is this still going to work this year? I know last year it was a deal, and I hadn't ever been out there. So I was like, this is probably going to just be going downhill. But now seeing it, it's got a lot of potential for years to come.
You think?
I do, because of the brush.
Yeah.
There's so
it's
much
water level
brush
dependent.
Yes. So back in like 2000, I think it was 7 through 10, there was quite a few sharelunkers caught out of there. I think Ivy's number 3 for a sharelunkers list. And a lot of them came out of there during that time. When
they didn't just start catching them out there?
No. So
there was a window.
Oh, okay.
This is known.
Just I didn't know.
That was the same time Falcon was going off too.
Falcon and Amstead. It's weird. Those lakes go through these cycles. So then it was
Peaks
going
and
off.
valleys.
And now we're in that peak again, and I think it's going to be probably another year or two.
Well, you know, there's just from what I just saw recently, there's some on beds out there because I saw videos of like people on guide trips catching 10s off of beds. There's another sharelinker caught today on OHIV. And they're like up in the back behind those bushes, you know.
Dude,
and
that's fun.
And that water's pretty clear, so I'm
But I think it'd be very challenging to find one on a bed in there.
Like I said, I saw a video of I don't know who the guy is.
They can find them.
But
Have you seen like the rigs they go out with out there to go look for beds?
No.
Like these big freaking platforms.
Yeah, you went out to Allen Henry last year, which is another sneaky one.
It is.
It's got gigantos.
I heard that place used to be better.
Yeah, but this still has giants, and you can go out there with like a ladder, you know. And just
is that in Austin?
No, it's like
way
like Ladybird, I think.
Yeah. It's way west.
Got you.
Yeah,
I've heard of it. That's interesting about Ivy, though.
I know something about Ivy that I told you. I haven't told you.
What's
and
that?
I'm not going to share.
Oh.
But there's some juice that you need to know about. I'll tell you.
About Ivy?
Can't let everybody know about that.
I don't even think we're talking about bass at this point.
No, we're not. And Shane knows what I'm talking about. He's saying, shut your mouth. So
about me now?
He's about to cut this from the whole podcast.
All right, we're not going to put that in there.
What are you saying
We'll post it one day.
There's no reason for anyone to ever go to Ivy ever again.
No one should. You should not travel long distances to go to lakes and fish them. No.
Here's a good carp lake, though.
Is it overrated?
Dude, you know what?
Did you not see this guy's video? No way it's overrated.
I know. It's got a lot of hype right now. I don't mean overrated. I guess I shouldn't say that's a bad word.
I netted 3 10-pounders for a guy in 10 hours on the water. But so you know.
But can it keep the pace like a fork did back in the heyday?
It's got the gigundos. Like they're just built different in there. It's
yeah.
just the particular way that you catch most of them really isn't that fun. It's
For those of you, and we talked about this a little bit today, and I think you'll back me on this. If you are going out there to Ivy in hopes of catching a giant and you don't have some form of forward-facing sonar, save yourself.
Yep, save that gas.
Now, there's, like I said, maybe some bed fishing.
Maybe, maybe now, but in the wintertime when all the big teaners are being caught,
for the most part,
when they're fat and full of eggs and fed up.
Yes.
Because you caught them in like the coldest day of the year.
Y'all were out there at the best possible time.
Literally, it was like
cold fronts.
14 degrees, like ice on the guides.
That's
like,
what I want to be.
Miserable.
The worst. 44 or 5 degree water. I mean, it's like when you're thinking, no, they're not going to bite, and that's when they bite, and they're
when you
coming
throw that
like
little chandelier out there.
Yeah, dude. What's weird is like you'll see them come up. You'll see every once in a while you see like a bust, and the water's in the 40s, and you're like, what is going on? It's a totally different kind of of lake. I don't know. It's strange.
Different world.
But I think it'll be good for a couple of years, and then
Really?
yeah, go back down to that cycle again. Get too low.
Yep. That's the sound of an empty cup, sir. And mine is empty.
Yep. Are we out of juice?
What else you got, man? What else you want to talk about?
I don't have an agenda. I just
There's
got
no
told
agenda.
Shane wanted to talk about it all, and I was like, okay, let's go.
We talked about some pretty great stuff.
I think we did good.
I think we're good.
I think we did good.
All right, we'll sign off here.
Good, good?
Good, good.
Good, good.
Good, good.
Great.
To Mini Mondos.
Time for another adult
I will say
beverage.
one thing before we sign off. We've got to get better about posting a little bit more, and we're gonna try to.
Stay consistent.
Yeah,
It's the
hard.
key.
It's
We got
the
ditched.
golden rule.
Ooh, hold up. Hang on. Before we go there. Okay.
Can I?
I don't necessarily know that we did because some things came up.
Some family matters, and I.
So that's
My
kind of
condolences.
that's hard. And,
You're right.
And some tournaments were coming up. They wanted to get ready for, so that's hard. That's hard. But with that being said,
have a little more respect.
I didn't say that's not where I was going. I said with that being said, Josh Jones, it will be on the show.
Speaking of OHIV,
Yeah,
Just
like
saying,
all
man.
he will be on the show. I really think he will be on the show.
I
I've
don't
talked
think
to him
he's
a couple
coming.
times.
I don't think he's
Shane
coming.
doesn't think
I
he's
believe
coming.
Josh will come.
Josh, I think
I
you're
don't think
coming.
he's coming.
He's
coming.
gonna. He's gonna come.
You're gonna come, Josh. You're gonna come. Keep it together.
I've talked to him. And I think he's gonna come.
I just went to that Trump clip. Just that Trump.
I think he's gonna come.
I think we're gonna have to edit this part out. Like I don't even think we can post that.
I think it's so funny.
I think we
I'm
can't post that at all.
I'm leaving it, so
so
you better
good.
we better just suck it up,
Jesus
tighten up.
Christ.
Listen, we
Thank you.
appreciate you guys being here.
Yes.
We're proud to set the record on the longest time
Yeah,
here on
you
the
did.
Juice.
I'm sure we're well over
Heck yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, man, we're
Coming
at
in
like
the
an hour and a half.
scales,
Hour and a half.
hour and a half. We have done it here, folks.
You did a fantastic job.
We
Y'all
like
did,
we like
man.
hanging out with y'all. We
Listen,
love
man,
coming to
It was
Rayburn.
fun.
Yeah.
It's been a good time every time we come to Rayburn.
We're gonna lay them out tomorrow.
Okay.
That's,
Okay.
Little team derb, mini
I
derb.
think we're doing a little 2v2.
We can do that.
Oh.
First
Something
experiment
out.
of the F1
And I
tournament
think it
series.
needs to be a mixed bag.
Is this the tackle addict?
Man.
Ah, look at him. He's backing out. He knows who the
I will go
crappie
train
master
wreck
is.
Some yobs. That's too easy. I see him every day.
If it's too easy,
I see him every day on my.
then I
slope.
think it needs to be a 5 bass, 5 crappie.
Oh, 5 crops.
Okay.
we could do a 2-lake challenge too. We'll figure something out.
We're gonna figure it out. We gotta go figure this out. I mean, you guys, your attention span out there on the old interweb is not an hour and a half long.
this
So
one. They're gonna like this one. I've had some guys pressuring us about
piece
some
it
merch.
together.
Merch also. Been pressuring.
You need merch? What? Who's
You can get
shipping
it at
these out?
tackleaddict.com.
You don't want to
Does
know.
tackleaddict.com not sell these right here?
A friend of
Yeah,
ours.
so we're gonna have some more merch. We're gonna have some more merch coming soon.
Thank you for these. These are great.
Was that a sore subject?
Nope. No, these
Not
are
so at all.
great.
Okay.
I guess we're not in on this.
I am not.
No, you were
I don't know
very
what's
in
going
on
on
us.
right now. But
You could always go to Matt Kendrick.
Guys, we got some merch.
You still on? Can Good make some hats?
We got some more merch coming. New episodes coming. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time.
Wrap it up.
The juice.
the juice.
Hit the mute.